Hello, this is Gerald Overmars. I should provide you a little bit help to orientate yourself with letters. You can hear the differences between letters, and some letters we really say, okay, there is such basic information there, so that we can really orientate ourselves very quickly. That we say, okay, there is it, and there is it, and that is it, and so on. That are basic letters. 9 letters are like that in that category. Other letters are really deforming actually everything which is around it, so that it changes and moves things. There's another category. Or some other ones have a lot of resonance, so that your attention is going elsewhere, and it's going to say like, where shall I orientate myself, and with what aspect shall I orientate myself? These 3 ways of hearing the differences between the letters are actually used in our associations, how we associate words. But it's quite easy to change these letters then into an orientation in space, or a direction in time, or like an orientation to figure out where we are. But from where to where is it? That's a little bit more difficult to in the beginning, because it's quite vague if we start to get to notice these things which are there in the letters. There is a certain range in which they can fit in, and in which they can combine, and that's maybe for the beginners a little bit more difficult, because also we are adapting, and we try to adapt from letter to letter so quickly that we hardly deal with the more focused essences, which also needs to adapt, needs to change to the next letter, and so on, so that we have the whole and not the details. The details matter in that way less, but if we know the method itself, how detailed it can be, then this will help us. And therefore we need a certain range. From where to where is the adaptation range? Where is that frame of the range? And I will have 2 examples. In this first video I will have the word car, and in the other one, in the next video, I will have care, where the orientation is different, and you'll see what will happen by this orientation. So where is that range then? Because in car is that range different than in the care, where that range is different, and so that perspective changes and adapts as well. But let's first face the 3 letters of car, from which the easiest letter, which is the basic orientation in that word, the middle letter there, the A, is the most easy one. But first of all, I will resume again the 3 sorts of categories. So the localization, the direction, or the applied orientation. So in 1, 2, or 3 focuses, all the letters are always to be found somewhere into these categories of complexity. So it's becoming more and more complex, dealing with more and more things, and so on, and that makes it more complex and deals with more things in the end. But okay, let's go to the A first. But to realize how this range is, it's also important that we know that underneath this structure where we orientate ourselves, there is a numerical system. I'm not going to talk too much about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 differences, but in the 3 times 3 difference, that's a bit more easy, because our focus mostly is much more easy to find in a 1, 2, 3 option. Just that. From the numbers that it is, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until 9 numbers, you also have 3 categories in focusing upon a number. And the A is actually less than the number. The T, the next letter, is exactly that number, and the K is higher, or it's going already away from that number, so it is less than 1, 1, and more than 1. Or in the U, L, and B, less than 2, 2, more than 2. C, less than 3, M, 3, and X, more than 3. And that's how this focus in the background is there as well. This could help you as well. It's going towards the number, so that's what I'm going to explain. So the A in the beginning it has actually, it has a center focus, which has no clear borders. So it's just, you have a starting point and it's a bit vague at the borders. A little bit extended, you have then here an example of L, and if there is even more, there's something extra to it. I have here the letter, I have here the focus of Alm. All around A is actually focused upon a center, and the border of where A stops is actually your focus range. Your range is, of course, where do we need our center point of focus? Very easily, if it's between two persons that are communicating, is that range of space itself, our space, the space between us, where we can orientate ourselves upon, both of us. That's the area of range. So it starts vague, and until where it is, it could be the full space in its maximum as well. So that's the frame of focus, and that's my range. It's centered, but it has also a range of where I'm focusing upon. And there I start, and I have my horizontal background here. So, and that horizontal background is, I start from zero, from my 0 point of starting point, and I go towards the center, which is 1. And that's from 0 to 1. That's my A focus. The C then, where is that C? The letter C is, if you can see that in the system, it's at the border. So I start at the borders. The borders, it's less than 3, but I need actually a doubling focus as well, so that I can go to a third focus. But I don't know that third focus yet. I'm focusing upon the border somewhere. So it's in between right and left. In a way, I want to start at the borders somewhere with a point. So it is less than 3, but it is that 1 point at the borders that I want to resume myself to, that 1 point at the borders of 1 unknown point and 2 choices, actually, and also a little bit. Makes it more difficult to focus, but there is my focus of C. If I combine that with A, so then I have to start from C and go to A. I have my starting point of C, and I go towards, how to continue it. Actually, I want to continue it. I found an option. It's also there, it's one of the options, but I choose an option. I found the option. Then I have C and A combined. And then the R will be the connecting points between the 1, 2, 3 zones, so the general zone. So I will connect, to where? To anywhere, actually. But if you look at it in my system there on top, it's that third zone, the 1, 2, 3 zone, the general background zone, the in-between zone as well, the body zone as well. So it is that body where you actually focus upon into the second degree. So I have it into 2 options with a starting point and an ending point. So 1, 2, I have that rhythm, what I found with the starting point somewhere into that general area, into the body of area that I focus upon, and to also somewhere at the right time and place I will connect that somewhere at some time to somewhere at some time. And I almost have car, actually, and if I think about it, what the car is, it's almost like this steering wheel. It looks more like that steering wheel where you have the options at the borders, and I say, okay, but where shall I go to? The R is going to steer it from one option into the background, the general background, from one place and time to another place and time. It's always about, the last category is about a placement and displacement and finding its place in time and space. And here I find that one. And it could be from any place to any place, as long as this is in this body of focus with the time and placement context, and it has this adaptive mode where I will add the formula CA, find at the borders my direction. Which direction shall I take? The 1, 2, 3 options that I have. Is it right? Is it left? Or is it to somewhere else? Yes, it is to somewhere else. Thanks to R, I make that connection. That's basically it. In the next video, I will explain care, how that makes a difference. But that's for the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.